It's Siobhan and I, Spear Keepers, are back with this episode. We decided to, instead of doing ghost hunting, which I love it, we enjoy doing that, we decided that we would like to get back to our roots and do more of a true crime.
Hello.
And we are going to be covering the Devil Made Me Do a case that the next Conjuring movie is going to be about. So
yes,
that's going to be super exciting.
Oh yes, I feel like this was not a very popular case, but they are making a new Conjuring movie.
Yeah.
And this is what it's going to be about, so we thought we would cover it. And we just want to throw in our little guest star today.
Yeah.
Yay!
Luna B.
Luna B.
Luna B making her YouTube debut. What she really wants to tell you guys is she would really like you guys to subscribe at the button below. Right, Luna? You tell them, Luna.
Gosh.
Subscribe.
Do it.
But yeah, so we're going to be splitting up these videos into two parts. The first part is going to be specifically about the possession of David Glatzel, which is the younger son. And then the second part, we're going to be going into the actual Devil Made Me Do a case itself, and we're going to be going over the murder of Alan Bono and the possession that supposedly is behind this murder, as well as the court case itself.
Yes.
So,
stay tuned, guys. I hope you love this. In the 1980s, we had this family. Well, actually, they were boyfriend, girlfriend. Debbie Glatzel and then Arnie Johnson were cleaning out a rental property that they wanted to re-rent. And Debbie brought her 3 siblings with her. The oldest one was Carl. I'm not sure the middle sibling's name. And the youngest one was David Glatzel. So she brought them there and they started to clean things up. However, David was seeing an old man. Wherever he tried to clean, wherever he tried to go, David was getting pushed. Everywhere he'd go, he'd see this old man. So eventually he just went and he sat outside and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. But everyone kind of just ignored him because he was only 11 and everyone thought, okay, like, he just doesn't want to help. Whatever, let him just sit there. So, turns out, when they all go home, David continues seeing this old man when he closes his eyes. But everyone's still like, okay, he must have saw something that spooked him, like a normal occurrence. 11-year-olds have like nightmares. They have big imaginations. So they kind of just let it go. But eventually, he started growling, hissing. They started to hear movements up in the attic. Arnie would go check it out, but there would be nothing there.
Like Siobhan said, they heard noises from the attic. There was spasms, convulsions, things like that. There were random scratches that would show up on his body. They would see him being hit by like an unseen force and things like that. And it got to the point where the family was so concerned that they decided to reach out to a Catholic priest to bless the building as a whole. I don't think it really worked at all. So they end up just deciding that they can no longer rent out the building. And that is when they slowly decided to reach out to Ed and Lorraine Warren. So about 12 days later, they reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren, and Ed and Lorraine made the decision to come see the house, meet the family, kind of see what's going on there. And initially, when they first got there, one of the things that Lorraine caught on to almost immediately was that there was a black mist that was kind of standing next to David. And the black mist to her represents a malevolent spirit. So she definitely knew that this was a situation where they went someplace and like this was like all in their head. She definitely knew that there was something going on. And as the longer they stayed there and checked out the family, the more things were happening. When they first got there, they witnessed David growling, hissing, and then he also started reciting the Bible as well as Paradise Lost.
Paradise Lost is a poem. I think it involves like heaven and the fighting of demons and stuff. Like, what if he was just like quoting like Castaway? He's like, Wilson! Wilson!
Must really like Tom Hanks.
I know.
I don't know.
Wilson!
And after their day there, the Warrens came to the consensus that not only was David possessed by one demon, no, not 2 or 3, they believe that he was possessed by 42 demonic entities.
Oh,
And when they were interviewing David and asking him about the old man, he was able to go into detail about each of the demons that were possessing him. So, like, he knew what they looked like, what their faces were like. The Warrens, in October of 1980, when this was all going on, they warned the police that this situation was dangerous and that something bad might happen because of it. That's another thing to note too, because the Warrens did reach out to the police and they were very concerned that this could get very dangerous, not just to this family, but to the community as a whole. They decided to do a few of what they call like lesser exorcism stuff. During these exorcisms, they witnessed a ton of different things from David. They witnessed him levitating at one point. He also stopped breathing at one point. Another huge thing that's going to come in part 2 is one of the things that it's believed that you can do if you're possessed by a demon is that you can predict the future, or like you see the future. And David, during one of the exorcisms, predicted the murder of Alan Bono, the murder that Arnie commits later on. And during these exorcisms, it got to a point where they were so desperate to end David's suffering that Arnie actually told the demons to possess him and take him instead of David. So he was trying to sacrifice himself to the demons.
Which the second he did that, they're like, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. That's a no-no.
Yeah,
like, don't do that. Because it doesn't like work that they'll just, I feel like the typical movie where they'll just jump from one to the other. They just ended up like attacking both of them.
Yeah. At the end of this exorcism, it ended with David being alright. So he was kind of going back to normal and everyone was started becoming relieved. And Arnie decided that he wanted to check out this old well that's behind the rental. He was told by Lorraine Warren that the demons were coming from an old well that was on the property that the rental was on. And so he decided that he wanted to go check out the old well. And the Warrens warned him once again, one of the many times. But yeah, so they warned him not to go there and to not provoke them, not do anything of that nature, but he decided against it. He went there and he actually ended up seeing one of the demons and he made eye contact with it, which they believe is how he ended up becoming officially possessed. They eventually, after all of the exorcisms with David, decided to leave the rental. And Debbie ended up getting a job with Alan Bono, the guy that they predicted the murder of earlier in the exorcism. And she got a job as a pet groomer in Brookfield, Connecticut. And yeah, I think this is the part where we're gonna leave it because that's when we go into the murder that happens a few months afterwards. So Luna, tell me, what do you think? Is David possessed?
You all.
I have to say, I just have a couple questions. Is anyone else curious, like, where is this house? Like, Amityville, you know, we know where it is.
Yeah.
The other Conjuring house, we know where it is. I wonder where this house is. Is that not, like, that's the first, like, I want to know what this well is. That's just, like, a weird thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's like a portal.
Yeah, it is.
To have to, like, 42, like, demons come out of it.
I mean, maybe someone mess with, like, I know sometimes with, like, Ouija boards,
Yeah.
they, like, say that, like, if you don't correctly close it, it can open portals. So, I mean, like I said, I don't know if it's a Ouija board thing or if it's, like, someone did, like, maybe a ritual there. Like, I don't, like,
And
it's interesting.
Fun facts, because they actually reached out to the tenant who was there before, and she saw the old man. It never possessed her or anything, but she said that was part of the reason why she was moving.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
If you like this, like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, the button's down below. So, yeah, we're really excited for this next video, and so stay tuned, and we will give you more information on the Devil Made Me Do It case.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye, guys!
Bye.